Thank you, everyone. I should give the caveat at the outset that I've been chief executive for a grand total of 9 weeks. So most of what I'm speaking at is the achievements and the work of others. But it will come as no surprise to anyone to hear that, like as for everyone, it's been an unusual 12 months for the Royal Statistical Society, not just because of COVID, but significantly because of COVID. In January, my predecessor, our excellent executive director, Hitan Shah, moved on to take up the helm at the British Academy. Then in March, obviously, the COVID lockdown happened, which, as well as changing many things for everyone in the world, very specifically for us, meant no more in-person meetings, trainings, or room hire, which was a source of revenue for us. Staff had to rapidly shift to working from home. It led to a change of workload and the kind of policy that we focused on, and also led to significant changes like moving the conference online. That wasn't the only big change. Obviously, another significant event that happened earlier this year was the whole Black Lives Matter movement, in which many organizations, the RSS included, have rightly been encouraged to think more about the status of diversity and inclusion in their work, in the history of their disciplines. So I think it reflects incredibly well on the volunteers, the members of the RSS, and also on the staff, that they've responded very well to these challenges. Nicola Emerson, who was acting chief exec, has managed many of these challenges very, very ably. I'm very grateful to have been taking over from her. But the energy and goodwill that members have shown in adapting to different ways of work has been really welcome too. I'll just quickly go through some of the specific areas. Our membership rates and joining rates, I'm glad to say, remain strong. And part of the previous discussion about introducing the data analyst qualification, I think will help that in the future. It will help us reach out to new groups of people who are important to our mission. We have also put in place, with great effort, a new CRM system to help us manage and keep in touch with our members. And I'm glad to say that project is now coming to completion. Similarly, despite lockdown, submissions to our journals remain strong, and we have shifted to, we had our first virtual discussion meeting, which was extremely well attended, so some benefits of remote working there. Similarly, our training offering has been rapidly shifted over to a virtual offering, and although we've had a brief downturn, seems now to be thriving well. Our policy work, which, as you know, is an important part of what we do, has had to pivot very rapidly because COVID has thrown up a whole range of new statistical challenges and issues that we need to take forward. I'm particularly grateful to our COVID-19 task force of senior members that has worked tirelessly to put together explainers, to deal with media, and to work with politicians to try and improve the statistical understanding of the response to COVID. Sylvia Richardson, our president-elect and co-chair of that task force, is testifying to a select committee on this today. She and John Deeks were on the front page of the Times talking about the government's moonshot plans recently. And as Sharon will say in a second, we've been deeply involved in what seems to become known as the exam adjustment fiasco, making sure that we have been keeping government and others honest on that point. Our other work has not been dropped. We've continued to be involved in important issues to us. For example, the issue of pre-release statistics, where we've made some real progress with the Scottish government in the last few days. Similarly, on the question of inflation measurement, we put in a big submission to the ONS on their, we think, mistaken plans to change the way inflation is measured, and that resulted in a well-attended meeting, and kudos from them. I should also just talk about some of our significant events. Conference, we took the decision to shift to an online event, and I'm thrilled to say that went really well. The conference committee and the organisers really pulled out all the stops to make sure everything ran smoothly. And although costs were increased because we had to pay for an additional IT suite while still paying for venue hire, unfortunately, we did manage to break even from that, which is good from a financial point of view. One of the things that I think is worth mentioning that happened at the conference was Deborah, our president, gave an update on our commitment to diversity and inclusion, and we will be pushing that forward over the coming months and year, so working on not just how statistics can make a contribution to greater diversity and inclusion and fighting racism in society, but how we can make sure that we are adequately promoting diversity among the society itself, both among our members and our staff. Our finances, despite a tough time, remain resilient, although Costs have increased in some areas, they've decreased in other areas, and I think it leaves us well positioned to take on the challenges of the coming year.